Have you ever had that feeling, like when you're about to make a decision
Yeah.
and something just kind of pulls you in a completely different direction?
All the time.
Like you suddenly decide to call a friend you haven't spoken to in ages, and it turns out they were going through something really tough and needed someone to talk to.
It's like the universe is nudging you, isn't it?
Exactly. Or you just randomly pick up a book and it has exactly the advice you've been searching for.
It can be so uncanny, can it?
It really is.
Yeah.
What if those weren't just coincidences, but like messages from another version of you, a parallel self?
Now, that's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
And it perfectly sets the stage for what we're diving into today.
Today, we're going deep into the world of parallel selves and parallel reality. We're going to explore those spiritual signs that could suggest your parallel self is trying to reach out. And how to actually recognize and understand those messages.
And this isn't just about, making better everyday choices. We're going to explore how tapping into these connections could lead to some seriously profound insights about yourself, even guide you toward those big life-changing decisions that really align with who you truly are.
Like tapping into a whole new level of awareness.
Exactly. We're talking about expanding your consciousness and your understanding of what's possible.
For this deep dive, we've been studying this really interesting transcript from the YouTube channel Philosophical Essays.
Oh, I love that channel.
Me too. It's called A Message from Your Parallel Self. Here's How to Recognize the Signs guide.
That sounds right up our alley. So what's the mission for today?
Today, we're breaking down these potential signals from parallel selves. We'll give you a framework to think about these ideas in your own life.
Okay.
See if they resonate with your own experiences.
I'm in.
Okay, so let's start with something that might sound like it's straight out of science fiction, the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics.
It's actually a pretty well-known theory in physics, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But it might help us understand those strange experiences where it feels like another version of you is reaching out. So basically, the many worlds interpretation suggests that every time a decision is made, like at a quantum level, the universe doesn't just choose one outcome, it splits, creating a separate universe for every single possibility.
So every time we make a choice, no matter how small, new realities are created.
Exactly. Think about it. This morning, you decided to have coffee instead of tea.
Right.
Well, in another universe, you chose tea.
Oh,
and in that universe, maybe your whole day unfolded differently because of that one choice. The transcript even uses the example of us creating this episode in another universe. Maybe we're watching this instead of making it, or someone else wrote the script entirely.
Okay, now here's where things get super interesting. If all those parallel universes exist, each with a different version of us making different choices, could those gut feelings, those flashes of inspiration, those weird coincidences, could those actually be messages from those other selves?
It's definitely a compelling possibility. Think about it. If our consciousness is somehow connected to those other versions of ourselves, like how quantum entanglement suggests particles can influence each other instantly, no matter the distance, then maybe those seemingly random moments of knowing were actually subtle communications from across those realities.
Like when you suddenly have a brilliant idea out of nowhere.
Exactly. The transcript suggests those could be moments where you're briefly aligning with a parallel self who's already found a solution to a problem you're facing.
Wow. So it's like tapping into their knowledge.
Yeah, precisely. Their experiences and wisdom are suddenly available to you, even if just for a fleeting moment.
It's important to remember, though, that these are still theories. We can't prove any of this for sure.
You're absolutely right. We're talking about concepts that are still being debated and explored. But they offer a fascinating way to look at the mysteries of our own experience.
It definitely makes you think, doesn't it?
Totally.
So let's talk about something a little more familiar, something most of us have experienced, déjà vu.
Ooh, déjà vu. That strange feeling of having already lived through a moment, even though you know you haven't.
Right. And science has its explanations, right?
Of course. They say it's like a little glitch in the brain, a temporary mix-up in memory processing, or maybe a delay in how our senses take in information. But the transcript offers a very different and, I think, much more exciting interpretation.
Okay, I'm curious. What's that?
It suggests that déjà vu might be a moment where your consciousness overlaps with a parallel self who has actually experienced that exact moment before.
Oh, I like that. So it's not a glitch, it's a connection.
Exactly. Remember the many worlds interpretation, where every decision creates a new reality. Déjà vu could be that split second where your awareness touches one of those other realities.
It's like a little peek into another life.
Precisely. And the transcript connects this to the idea of a higher self or a spiritual guide.
Right.
Nudging you toward the right path. Like a whisper saying, you've been here before. This feels right.
It's a good feeling, for sure.
Isn't it?
So instead of just brushing off deja vu, we should pay attention to it.
I think so. The next time you experience it, try to really be in that moment. Notice the details, the emotions you're feeling, any sudden thoughts.
Right.
Those could be messages from that parallel self who's already been there.
I'll definitely try to be more mindful of those moments.
I will too. It's a fascinating area to explore, even if we don't have all the answers yet.
Okay, so we've talked about deja vu. What about those uncanny coincidences we've all experienced, like when the universe seems to line things up perfectly?
You're talking about synchronicity.
Yeah. Like thinking about someone and then they call you out of the blue.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Or let's say you're thinking about changing careers.
Right.
And suddenly you start seeing job ads for that exact field everywhere.
That's a classic example of synchronicity. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, defined it as meaningful coincidences that don't seem to have a cause and effect relationship.
Okay.
But the transcript asks, could these synchronicities actually be messages from our parallel self guiding us toward our best life?
So it's not just coincidence, it's a sign.
Maybe. The transcript connects synchronicities to the idea that everything in the universe is connected.
Oh, wow.
And these coincidences might be part of a bigger cosmic plan.
Like those parallel selves are sending us a message through the universe.
Exactly. But how do we even know if a coincidence is a synchronicity?
Right, how can we tell?
It takes practice, becoming more aware of the patterns in your life. Notice recurring themes, like certain numbers that keep appearing.
Numbers.
Yeah. Or maybe a specific symbol that keeps popping up, or even a phrase you keep hearing. When something like that happens, take a moment to reflect.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what were you thinking about when it happened? Could it be related to a decision you need to make?
That's interesting.
The transcript even recommends keeping a synchronicity journal.
Like a dream journal.
Exactly. Write down those strange coincidences. Along with your thoughts and feelings about them, you might start to see a pattern.
Oh, that's a cool idea. So by paying attention to synchronicities, we can make better decisions.
That's the idea. When a synchronicity happens around a decision you're thinking about, it could be a sign to explore that path more closely. It's like the universe is giving you a little nudge in the right direction. But remember, don't rely entirely on external signs.
Okay.
Use them to strengthen your own intuition, to confirm what you're already feeling inside.
So these synchronicities are like a way to connect to something bigger.
Yes. They can be really reassuring, especially when things feel uncertain or chaotic. They remind you that you're not alone and that there might be a guiding force helping you along the way.
I definitely feel that way sometimes. Okay, so we've talked about how our waking experiences might connect us with our parallel self, but what about our dream?
That's a great transition. The transcript digs into the possibility that our dreams could be another way our parallel selves reach out.
Like some dreams feel so real, so vivid.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's like you actually lived through them.
Exactly. And the transcript suggests those intense dreams might actually be glimpses into the lives of your other selves, showing you lessons they've learned or experiences they've had.
So it's not just random stuff our brains make up while we're sleeping.
Maybe not. There's a concept in quantum physics that consciousness shapes reality. So perhaps our dreams aren't just passive, but they could be actively shaping our waking lives in ways we don't even realize.
That's pretty amazing. What about lucid dreaming?
No, that's where things get really interesting. Lucid dreaming, where you're aware you're dreaming while you're dreaming.
Yeah.
The transcript suggests that could be a way to actually communicate with those parallel selves intentionally.
Intentionally.
Yeah. Like you could ask your dream self a question about a decision you need to make, or even experience different outcomes.
That would be incredible. But how do you even start lucid dreaming?
It takes practice, for sure. Keeping a dream journal is key. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up. It really helps with recall.
Okay.
And throughout the day, practice doing reality check. Ask yourself, am I dreaming? Look for anything that seems off or out of place in your surroundings that can train your mind to become more aware in the dream state.
Oh, I see. Like planting a seed of awareness.
Exactly. You can also set an intention before you fall asleep to remember your dreams or even to become lucid. Meditation can help calm your mind and make it easier to slip into a lucid dream.
What about the content of the dream? Anything specific we should be looking for?
Pay attention to recurring themes, symbols, or emotions that keep popping up in your dream.
Oh.
Those might be messages from those parallel selves, pointing out something important you need to address in your waking life.
So dreams can be more than just entertainment.
Right. They can be powerful tools for self-discovery and growth, even if you don't fully buy into the idea of parallel universe.
It's a whole different way of looking at dreams. So we've talked about external signs and dream experiences. What about that inner voice we all have, that intuition?
Intuition. That gut feeling that tells you something is right or wrong, even when you can't explain why.
Yeah, like a knowing that comes from deep inside.
Exactly. And the transcript asks, could intuition be a direct line to your most enlightened parallel self, the one who's already figured things out?
That's a really interesting thought.
Right. Intuition feels so different from our normal thoughts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's much more immediate.
More certain, less about logic and overthinking. It just is.
It's like a knowing that comes from somewhere else.
Precisely. It's like bypassing the conscious mind and tapping into a deeper source of wisdom.
It reminds me of Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious, a shared pool of experiences that connects all humans.
Exactly. But the transcript takes it a step further, suggesting that this pool might actually be a universal consciousness that connects all versions of ourselves across all those parallel.
Wow.
So when you have that strong gut feeling, it might not be just your subconscious.
Right.
It could be a direct message from a parallel
Right.
who also already been there, done that, and knows the best way forward.
So intuition is like a bridge to those other realities.
That's a beautiful way to put it. But learning to trust your intuition takes practice. It's about separating genuine intuitive guidance from just wishful thinking or anxiety.
How can we get better at recognizing and trusting our intuition?
Mindfulness and meditation are super helpful. Quieting the mind helps you hear those subtle intuitive whispers more clearly.
Okay.
Another cool technique is to keep an intuition journal. Write down those gut feelings and then see how things turn out.
That's a great idea.
It helps you build trust in your inner guidance. Real intuition often feels instant and certain, not like that back and forth debate you have with yourself when you're thinking. Also, pay attention to physical sensations. Do you feel it in your gut?
Oh, yeah.
A sense of lightness.
Yeah.
Knowing that resonates through your whole body.
I get that.
The more you act on those intuitions and see the positive result, the more confident you'll become in trusting your gut.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like building a muscle, that trust in yourself.
Exactly. And on a spiritual level, trusting your intuition means aligning with the wisdom of your most evolved self, the one who's already on the path to fulfilling your highest potential.
That's a really empowering thought. Okay, now this next concept is a little different and maybe a little creepy.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you didn't recognize yourself?
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's a strange feeling, isn't it?
It's really unsettling. Like you're looking at a stranger.
It can be very disorienting.
The transcript suggests these moments might actually be temporary alignments with alternate versions of ourselves.
Whoa, like you're catching a glimpse of another you in the mirror.
Exactly. It ties back to Jung's idea of a deeper, interconnected reality. And when you have that disconnect with your reflection, it could be that you're tuning into a broader spectrum of consciousness, briefly connecting with a parallel you.
That's both fascinating and a little frightening, isn't it?
It is. So what are we supposed to do with those moments? They're so strange.
The transcript suggests there are actually opportunities for deep self-reflection. Instead of just being freaked out by it, try to ask yourself, what might that other version of you be experiencing? What choices have they made that led them to look or feel that way?
Oh, wow.
Maybe it'll give you some fresh perspective on your own life choices and all the paths you could have taken. From a spiritual angle, these moments could be a sign that your vibration is shifting, allowing you to briefly access higher levels of consciousness and connect with those parallel selves.
So we're not just imagining things, so there might be something deeper going on.
Exactly. But those moments can be a little unsettling, so grounding is key.
Right.
Take some deep breath, focus on your physical sensations, feel your feet on the ground. Bring yourself back to the present moment. The transcript also recommends engaging with that reflect, asking it questions, and listening to any insights that come up.
It's like having a conversation with your parallel self.
Exactly. It might sound a little out there, but it could offer some profound insight. The transcript mentions the concept of turiya from Vedanta philosophy, which is basically a state of transcendent consciousness that might explain these brief glimpses into a wider reality. It's about paying attention, being discerning, and staying open to the possibility that these strange moments might hold deeper meaning.
So even in those unsettling moments, there's potential for growth and understanding. We've explored a lot of different signs so far, and now I want to talk about something that helps us connect more deeply with ourselves: meditation.
That's a perfect next step. The transcript suggests that meditation might be more than just relaxation or stress relief. It could actually be a portal to connecting with our parallel selves.
That's a really cool idea. How does quieting the mind help with that?
When you meditate, you're essentially creating a space for deeper awareness and receptivity. It's like turning down the volume on all the mental chatter. So you can tune in to those subtle frequencies of your parallel self. Some research even suggests that deep meditation can lead to altered states of consciousness where the barriers between different realities become thinner.
Oh, wow.
It's like creating a clearer channel for communication.
I've definitely had moments of amazing clarity and insight during meditation.
Exactly. Those could be messages from a parallel you who's already found the answers you're seeking. And the more you meditate, the easier it becomes to recognize and understand those messages in everyday life.
The transcript even has a specific meditation technique for connecting with parallel selves.
It's a guided visualization. You imagine yourself in a peaceful, beautiful place. And then you visualize meeting a version of yourself who's already achieved something you're working toward.
Oh, like a mentor self?
Yes. Or maybe they've overcome a challenge you're struggling with. The idea is to open yourself up to their wisdom and guidance.
I love that. So we're literally visualizing a connection with our parallel selves.
Exactly. And like with any meditation, consistency is key. Even a few minutes a day can make a huge difference.
Okay.
Over time, you might find it easier to access those states of consciousness where this communication feels natural. You might notice your intuition getting stronger.
Yeah.
A greater sense of guidance in your life, a feeling of alignment with your true purpose.
It's like we're tuning in to a higher frequency, both literally and metaphorically.
That's a great way to put it.
Speaking of frequency, how does our overall vibe, our energy, play a role in connecting with those parallel selves?
That's a really important piece of the puzzle. The idea is that everything in the universe, including our thoughts and emotions, vibrates at a certain frequency.
Okay.
And the quality of our vibration impacts the kind of experiences we attract and the realities we resonate with. It's a concept that resonates with both ancient wisdom and modern physics.
So it's like our vibration is a tuning dial for different realities.
I love that analogy. Imagine your consciousness is a radio receiver.
Okay.
And different parallel realities are like different radio stations. By raising your vibration, you're essentially tuning in to the stations where those higher, more evolved versions of yourself are broadcast.
So how do we raise our vibration?
The transcript highlights a few simple but powerful practices: gratitude, meditation, and conscious eating. When you focus on the good things in your life, you naturally elevate your energy and align with more positive experience. Meditation, as we've talked about, calms the mind and raises your vibration. And the foods you eat have a direct impact on your energy levels, so choose whole, natural foods that nourish your body and spirit.
It's about being mindful of what we're putting into our bodies and minds.
Absolutely. Small, consistent changes in your daily habits make a big difference. Start by listing 3 things you're grateful for each morning. Do a short meditation or some mindful breathing. Choose healthy food. These practices can shift your vibration over time. And you might start noticing more synchronicities, more intuitive hits, signs that you're aligning with those higher frequencies.
But raising your vibration doesn't mean you'll never face challenges, right?
Of course not. Life is full of ups and downs.
Right.
But having a higher vibration gives you more resilience and a more positive outlook.
So you're better equipped to handle those challenges.
Exactly. The transcript also talks about the concept of a quantum sea of light, a fundamental energy field that connects everything. By raising our vibration, we're not just helping ourselves, we're contributing to a positive shift in the collective consciousness.
That's a powerful thought. It's really mind-blowing to think that every choice we make, even the small one, could be creating new realities.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? The transcript explores this idea that every decision we make, big or small, sends ripples across countless realities, shaping those universes in ways we can't even imagine.
So even something as simple as what I choose to eat for breakfast could be creating a new reality.
That's what the many worlds interpretation suggests. Think about a big life decision, like changing careers or moving to a new city. In one reality, you might be thriving in that new career, while in another, you stayed put and had a totally different life experience.
It makes you think twice about those choices, doesn't it?
It definitely encourages more mindful decision-making.
Yeah.
When you realize the potential impact of your choices, you're more likely to consider the long-term consequences, not just for yourself, but for all those possible realities.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is. But the transcript also highlights the liberating aspect of this. Knowing there are countless versions of you making different choices takes the pressure off finding the perfect solution in this one reality.
That's a relief.
Right. It makes those decisions feel more like opportunities for growth and exploration rather than make or break moment. The transcript also emphasizes the interconnectedness of everything, the idea that we're all part of this cosmic web, and our individual choices contribute to the overall experience of reality.
So it's about finding that balance, being mindful of our choices without getting overwhelmed by the possibilities.
Exactly. It's about cultivating awareness, intention, and a sense of shared responsibility.
So how do we take all this incredible information and actually put it into practice?
That's where the concept of integration comes in. The transcript encourages us to consciously sync our choices and our energy with those more successful, more enlightened versions of ourselves across those parallel realities.
It's like consciously choosing to align with our best selves.
Exact. It's about bringing all those practices we've discussed, paying attention to déjà vu and synchronicities,
Right.
exploring our dreams, trusting our intuition, meditating, raising our vibration, and making them part of our daily lives.
It sounds like a lifelong journey.
It is. It's about progress, not perfection. Start small, be consistent, and trust the process.
Any specific tips for getting started?
Dedicate a few minutes each day to meditation or mindfulness. Keep a dream journal by your bed. Practice gratitude daily. When you experience déjà vu or a synchronicity, pause and reflect. And remember, it's a journey, not a race.
It's about those small, consistent steps.
Precisely. As you continue on this path, you might find yourself experiencing more moments of clarity, a stronger sense of purpose, and a deeper connection to your true self.
It's like we're unlocking our full potential by tapping into all those other versions of ourselves.
Absolutely. And those challenges you face might start to feel less daunting.
Right.
Because you know that somewhere a parallel you has already overcome them.
Wow. This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. It's really shifted my perspective on how I view my own life and choice.
It's really humbling, isn't it?
It is. It's also incredibly empowering to know that we have this vast potential within us, a potential that extends beyond this one reality.
Absolutely. As we wrap up, I want to encourage everyone listening to remember those subtle signs we've talked about. Déjà vu, synchronicities, vivid dreams. They might be messages from those other versions of you, offering guidance and support.
So let's all be more mindful of those experiences, more open to the possibility that we're connected to something much bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. Embrace the multidimensional nature of your being. It's an incredible journey of self-discovery and unlimited potential.
Start today by paying attention to those intuitive nudges and those moments of synchronicity. They might just be the keys to unlocking a whole new level of awareness and understanding.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are countless versions of you out there cheering you on every step of the way.